Something on the chat that says, annoyed here, unable to hear. How many out there can hear me? Some people can hear me. It must be on your side. Others can hear me.
Can't hear you. Okay, now.
Yeah, you can. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa, the three refuges, for those who'd like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Welcome, friends, this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So I hope you're all able to get the transcribed Dhamma talk that I sent out on Monday, and I had a chance to read it. But actually, I'm going to be putting that up now on the shared screen, in case people didn't read it. So you can kind of, we're going to go through that. This was a Dhamma talk that I gave on Sunday, but it wasn't broadcast over Zoom. We just had recorded it on YouTube Live. And then I had it transcribed. First time I used that transcribing feature on the Dhamma talks. Actually, it's quite, handy. So, anyway, so I'm going to put that on the shared screen now. I hope. Why isn't it working?
Is it a
Can you
tab
help me
issue?
out? Why
Probably a
is it?
tab issue.
What happened this time?
Top tab. Where are you?
Well, I got this thing on.
Go back to the stop, do stop share and try to share one more time. See if anything's what's open. I think you closed the, that's where you just clicked, but I think you closed the browser window. Yeah, click on that, Bhante.
What?
Yeah, click on this one down here, this one here. Just click on it.
No, that's,
Yeah, just click, go ahead and just try, go for it for just a second. Yeah, and click share.
no, I don't want to share.
Just trust me, try this for a second. Now do your, can you see
This
your background?
this
Can you-
transcript,
there you
that's the
go,
one.
there you go.
Okay, sorry, technical issues. I always seem to have that problem. Okay, so this is the Dhamma talk that I had given about what is the Dhamma. That's what I usually like to start with that topic, because so you can read that. People say, what is a Dhamma? Well, it's what the Buddha taught. Well, what did the Buddha teach? He taught the Dhamma. Well, so how are you going to get to the essence of it? So basically, I hope you can kind of read kind of fast. I don't want to read the whole thing. But basically, the Buddha taught about the natural laws, but especially in terms of the laws of suffering and happiness, or what causes suffering, and what is happiness. And there could be an end to suffering, and how do you make suffering go away? And then talked about the 3 levels of suffering. The physical level, of getting broken bones and diseases and all kind of body problems, especially and then you die. It's called the physical level of suffering with this body. And then there's the mental suffering connected with those problems of the body, as well as other types of mental suffering, and not getting what you want, getting what you don't want. And basically that means dissatisfaction with the present moment. The mind is always wanting something else. And because of impermanence, we can't always get what we want, and we get what we don't want. And the cause of the suffering is basically not understanding the law of karma, the web of karma, and how we've gotten all enmeshed in the web of karma, means our actions. And then practicing the Noble Eightfold Path to come to the end of suffering. And it's interesting that the Buddha here did not expressly mention happiness. He said the truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the way leading to the end of suffering. So he didn't expressly mention happiness, because if you remove the cause of suffering, then you would automatically be happy, or as I like to say, not unhappy. Because a lot of people are always saying, yeah, if you're happy, then there's always the case of being unhappy. But if you're not unhappy, then, it stands to reason you would be at least contented. If not happy, at least contented with the present moment. So usually when people have asked me if I'm happy, I say I'm not unhappy. Because happiness means different things to different people. And then, of course, the Noble Eightfold Path, I'm not going to go through all that. But what I want to focus on, particularly in this talk, is the origin of suffering connected with the self. And I usually like to explain that by how we were born. A young baby is born. And then it continues to grow up. But it, for 9 months, it was in the womb. And with the cell division going from a one-cell organism to a billions of cells, or trillion cells, in the space of 9 months, the baby's mind basically was in the present moment. And consciousness was, came into that moment of conception. The consciousness comes in and is implanted in the new embryo. And that sparks the process of cell division. Without that consciousness, the baby won't develop. And so, but for those 9 months, the mind was basically connected with the body, and the cell consciousness goes into every cell of the body with cell division. That initial spark, it also is multiplied through all the cells. And so basically all the cells of the body has an awareness, or has a mind, you might say, but at least awareness.
Bhante, the voice is not clear.
Well, I don't know. Everybody else have that problem? Anybody else, my voice is not clear?
Bhante, you're speaking into the laptop microphone, and it's creating boominess because of the echo in the room. It would be better. It would be better if you were speaking into an external microphone, like a Blue Yeti or something like that. But
Well,
you
we
might
have
you want
this
to do
one.
that.
Check your audio,
How about that? Is that near?
or check the audio input.
Oh, okay.
maybe.
Let me just check the audio input. That might have gotten
Yeah.
messed up. The scarlet soda.
Yeah, try that one.
How is that now?
It's still room boomy.
Yeah?
Try the other one one more time. The Yeti.
What about this one? That better? No.
Try again. Speak.
Can you hear me now?
It's still the
No.
boominess of the room. Is there a audio input choice on Zoom? Tech person in the room?
He's changing the speaker instead of microphone.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're changing the speaker instead of the microphone, Bhante. Good eye.
Yeah. The
Oh.
sound changed.
Try that.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Much better.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still working on my tech power. Sorry about that. Okay. See, now, where were we? 9 months in the womb, right? So basically that consciousness was in the present moment, and it was, the body and the mind, the consciousness and the body evolved together, and it was intimately connected with the body. So, you can go through this. And then when the baby comes out, it gets exposed to the world around it. And the parents give it a name, little Johnny, little Susie, and all the relatives come over and start paying it a lot of attention and things like that. But the mind is still very expansive, and it doesn't really know what's happening. It doesn't have any sense of I in it. This was very important. When we're born, the baby doesn't have an established sense of I. Now, ignorance from the last life has been brought over with it, but until the baby starts growing a bit, that I is dormant. And the consciousness is a kind of an expansive awareness. And I give the example there about how a mother or father, it might have been 5 or 6 months calling the baby's name and never looked at you. And finally, one day you call the baby's name and it looks, oh, and you're so happy. And And now the baby is thinking that, oh, this name refers to this body. And then it experiences all these different sensations. And it starts walking and crawling about and starts, grasping after things. And little by little, the mind loses that connection with the body. What used to be an expansive, oceanic awareness, the sense of the eye, the ego starts to coalesce behind the eyes, and it has the ego consciousness, is then formed, and it relates to everything. All these things is happening to me, and then this is very important to understand because this is our mind, evolving, and how is it evolved? So you start feeling pleasant sensations and painful sensations. And the sweet grandmother comes by and gives your first piece of chocolate. And you taste the chocolate and you get a big grin on the face because it gives a pleasant sensation. And something else gives you a painful feeling, like your father or uncle holding you too tightly and squeezing. And so little by little, with the repetition of that, the baby starts to identify certain things as being a source of pleasure and other things as being a source of pain. And usually it wants the things that give it pleasure to come again, and it wants the things that causes us pain not to come again. So this is really the birth of the past and future in the mind. And the past and future are intimately connected to pleasure and pain. And basically, that remains with us our whole life. And everything we grow up with, we experience, the mind either categorizes it as something that brings me pleasure or something that brings pain. And our whole life basically revolves around that, getting things that bring us pleasurable feelings and doing things to keep the painful feelings away. And that leads to getting caught up in the web of karma, because we start to do actions to get the things that we want. We might tell lies, steal, cheat, and so on, or even harm others in our pursuit of pleasurable feelings, and having fear and worry that painful feelings will come to us. And that's because we have lost that connection with the present moment. And we lost that connection with the body. So the body basically is the natural connection to the present moment. But as we grow up and we look more and more outside, thinking about the future and the past, we lose that connection with the present moment. And basically, the body is the anchor to the present moment, but we've lost that. And so therefore we have to substitute, and that's, the present moment means it's a state of basically happiness, because in the present moment there's nothing to think about, nothing to worry about, and so on. And that's why when you meditate and you're practicing mindfulness and concentration, and eventually you are able to concentrate and not being distracted, your thoughts subside. You're no longer thinking of the past and the future. You're focused on your breathing, for example, or you're focused on just remembering, sitting, breathing, just some purely physical sensations. Then the mind is basically in the present moment, and you feel a sense of happiness. That's why when you attain the first jhana and your thoughts subside, you're no longer thinking of the past and the future, you experience piti and sukha. And basically that's because the mind is in the present moment. It's not because of the object. The object is only an object that brings your mind to the present moment. But the happiness comes from the mind being in the present moment. That's what's important to understand. And so we've gotten all caught up in the web of karma because we've lost that natural happiness of the present moment and are totally lost in going back and forth between thinking about the future, remembering the past. And the resting part of our mind, the mind's at rest. Whenever the mind is not actively doing something, the default mode is it just falls back into the body. Because the body and breathing is something we always have with us. From the moment you were born to the moment you die, the breathing in the body, this breathing body, is the only thing that's been constantly with you. Everything else, comes and goes, and that you cannot control. At least you can control to a certain extent your breathing in the body. It's always there. And so just to remember it, to feel it, it helps get your mind out of thinking of the past and the future. And that's why the Buddha's teaching about coming to the end of suffering, is the important part of that is learning how to develop meditation. And why the Buddha started with the 4 foundations of mindfulness as a way to coming back to the natural present moment awareness, to redevelop that connection to it, which is possible. And that's really the essence of wisdom, understanding how our mind has evolved into this web of suffering simply because we've lost that natural connection to the present moment. And no one's ever told us to keep that connection, to the present moment. And, the whole society is about the future, the future, the future. Now, of course, that has to be to a certain extent. We're not saying you're not going to think about the past and the future, but at the same time, not to lose that ability to come back to the present moment very often, whenever one wanted to. But most people lost the ability to do that. And so they don't know any recourse. And so that's why the Buddha, the 4 foundations of mindfulness was the Buddha's meditation, what he taught, to, that starts with the breathing. And the breathing is the connection from the outer world to the inner world. So we bring the air into the body. The first thing, the air touches our nostrils or our lungs expand. So instead of being lost in our thoughts, now we're feeling the outer body. And as you keep your attention on the breathing, you start to feel the sensations under the skin, or more sensations on the physical body. And the more sensations you can notice, the less chance for your mind to think of the past and the future. And just knowing what you're doing. That's why the mindfulness of the body practice extends to not only just the breathing and feeling the physical body, but you're remembering what the body is doing in the present moment. Like when you're sitting, know that you're sitting. When you're standing, walking, laying down, know however the body is placed. When you're moving your arms, turning your head, to fully feel that and know that. And as you're able to do that, you gain, you bring the mind more intimately in connection with the body, but it doesn't mean you lose your ability to be aware. And so the connection to the body is sort of like, it's a way we control our mind, because thoughts are normally coming up deep from the unconscious. But because our mind is focused in the outside, or it's distracted, or it's half sleepy, as many people's minds are, or they're scattered in their thoughts, they don't really see their thoughts arising. Because thoughts arise from the more or less the unconscious mind. And before we know it, we're carried away in them. And then we start reacting to them. So the practice of mindfulness, the body acts is like, well, we give the example of the training a dog. Let's say you get a dog from the animal shelter, untrained dog, and you bring it home and he's jumping all over everybody, and you let him outside and he's running after people walking down the street or the mailman or the bicycles and barking and chasing all the other dogs because he's untrained. So the same with our mind. Whatever comes into our mind, we react to it. We hear a loud sound, what's that, what's that? Oh, I don't like that. Or see something ugly, or smell something, and we get carried away in our thoughts because the mind isn't anchored. So let's say in training the dog, what you do, you put a leash on the dog and you tie the dog to a post or a tree trunk. And then when the dog sees a person walking down the street, it might get up and run out about 10 feet. But say your leash was 10 feet long. So the dog reaches the end of the leash and he may be barking, but he can't actually go bite the person. So after doing that many times, he realized it was useless getting up and running after people. I can't get to them. And so he stops barking, and he starts laying down more and resting by the post. So the same way with our mind. The body is like the tree trunk, and our mind is like the dog, the untrained dog that's always barking and running around. And the rope is the mindfulness. So the mindfulness is connected to the body. And so when it starts to run out, if you're feeling some part of the body, you'll be able to check that thought sooner than you normally would. And hopefully before you would, let's say, do some negative reaction, either with your body or speech, or get carried away in a whole train of unnecessary thinking. So that's the importance of using the body, and why the Buddha taught mindfulness of the body. As a lot of people think meditating on the body, you try to meditate on its foul smell or how it's impermanent and so on. That may be one of them, but to me, in my own experience, the mindfulness of the body had the most benefit in keeping the mind connected to the present moment. And because it's always there, it's always just an inch beneath your nose. There's 150 pounds or more, or at least 100 pounds of, flesh and bones, and billions of cells that are always vibrating. So why can't you feel it? You should be able to. So that's how, and it's only when you can check your thoughts that you can transform your thoughts. So, so in the practice of mindfulness, the body helps you to be able to see, oh, I'm thinking now. And then what kind of thought is this? Is it a negative thought? Okay, let go of that. Or is it a positive thought? Okay, I can cultivate this. So that's all part of developing the right effort and how to transform negative thoughts into more wholesome thoughts. That's the most important part of the Dhamma practice in the beginning until we've made a lot of progress in having more control over our wandering mind. So you experience, so as you practice the Dhamma, of course, not only meditation, but practicing right speech, right action, practicing the precepts, and so many other aspects of the Eightfold Path, hanging out with, wise persons, not hanging out with, foolish persons and so on. All these things are helping to promote the mind being more, centered, and the ability to when we meditate, our mind is not so distracted and so on, so we can more easily meditate. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all of this, but to me, that's the most important part of the practice, is, understanding this. Most people don't understand what their mind is. They don't know how the sense of self came about. They don't know how they got caught up in the web of karma. So it's very good to have an intellectual understanding of it. People don't think about it, but just think about it. Think about the time you were a baby. If you have children, you can see it happening in your children, and so on as they grow up. And, if your parents want to teach your children to stay connected to the body, teach them M&Ms. Stop every hour for 1 minute, come back to the body, take a few deep breaths. That would be a wonderful, It would be a wonder pill. It would be if, children even at 4, 5, 6 years old could start practicing that. Anyway, so to me, that's really the most important part of understanding the nature of us suffering, how the ego consciousness has evolved, and how we've gotten trapped in the web of the past and the future, and how pleasure and pain are, intimately connected to the past and the future. And the sense of self is what, is continually strengthened by our, thinking of the past and the future, and how we relate to the past and the future. So really understanding that part of the mind is really one of the most important aspects of the right understanding. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all of the rest of it, but I want to open it now. I hope that you had read this already, or if you hadn't.
Bhante, can you please, your voice sounds faded, very low.
I
Thank
don't know, is
you.
anybody else, is my voice sounding very low?
Not for me.
Yeah, for me, yes, it does.
If it was low, everybody would experience that, so check your own computer.
I did before I asked. Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, before it was sounding okay.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, we had a problem with the microphone. I think that's corrected now. Everybody's been hearing me okay for the last 5 or 10 minutes? Shake
Yeah.
your head, yes or no.
Not as a matter of fact, before it was sounding okay.
Anyway, shake your head.
Bhante, when you were using the first microphone, you were louder.
Yeah, exactly. Before you were louder.
Yeah, when there was the boominess, you were louder.
Yeah, it's very clear to me.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, before it was sounding okay.
Bhante, when you were using the first microphone, you were louder.
Yeah, exactly. Before you were louder.
Yeah, when there was the boominess, you were louder.
Yeah, it's very clear to me.
Okay, why don't you all turn off your...
As a matter of fact, before it was sounding okay.
Bhante, when
Okay, we're coming back to the screen now, so I can see people more kind of clearly. And let me...
Barely hear
How does
you.
it sound now? Is it louder?
It's faint a little bit. It's just faint. I have to be very close to the computer to hear you.
I don't know all these things. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? I want to open it up to some questions now. Okay, Ishira, you have a raised hand.
Yeah, Bhante, I have two questions. One is related to what we were discussing now is about consciousness.
Just speak up a
Uh,
little bit louder. I have trouble hearing you too.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's about consciousness. We're just discussing. Yeah. So in mother's womb, the consciousness arises before the baby is delivered, or its consciousness arises at an early stage of development?
Well, consciousness comes from somewhere outside. The mother and father only produce the material elements for the baby. Consciousness is like a spark.
So once these materials
Comes
formed at the
at the moment of conception. At the moment of conception, the consciousness finds the womb and triggers off the cell division. If the consciousness cannot find a place, for some reason it can't stay in that embryo, there'll be a spontaneous, what do you call that? Miscarriage. It won't live. So, but the consciousness stays, and then when the baby's born, then it has a contact with the world around it. In the womb, it might be able to hear sounds, but it feels the body sensations. But only when it comes out is there full-blown contact with the world. But the mind is still in an expansive state. The sense of I is not
there
in the young baby's mind, as I already mentioned.
Yeah. So the sense of I is actually
It develops usually after about the 5th or 6th month, according to a lot of parents. And it depends on the objects, you give it a name, right? You keep on calling it a name. And so that's the first inkling of the baby has is, I hear this sound and people are all coming over to me and so on. And then you start looking, and little by little, you start that identification of this is a me somehow, or an I. People are wanting some reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, I have another question. This is about, I think, last week or something. So I have a question regarding name and form. I have a question regarding name and form, like Nama Rupa. So I understand what Nama is, but I have a question about Rupa. So could you please explain a little about Rupa? Like when we think about our own body, such as eyes, ears, and nose, are these considered as external rupa or internal rupa, or it doesn't matter? So what is this rupa actually? I know it's made up from Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, but like eyes, I can't see, right? So is it an external or is it external or internal, or it doesn't matter? Like what is it? What this rupa could this
There
explain?
are both. Their internal rupa is what's in our physical body, all those billions of cells that make up this physical body, and the sense bases at the sensitive nerve endings at the sense organs. Those are rupa. And then when the sound impinges on the ear, then that physical sound that you're hearing is also the rupa. And so that's what the external rupa impinges on the internal rupa for contact to arise.
So what is this internal rupa?
External things is the external rupa. And the rupa is also our physical body and the internal sensations. It's both. And
so our body is our body is internal rupa.
Yes, nama rupa means the mind can't exist without this body. And the body can't exist without the mind. So that process is always going on, but then the external rupa, the sense objects coming through our senses, and now we're experiencing, those trigger off our memory of it. So if you hear a sound, like the baby might have heard the name many, many times, but never thought it was belonged to him and then or her, and all of a sudden it starts looking, and now when he hears the sound, that the memory of, oh, that sound is me, refers to somebody's calling me.
Mm.
or my mother or father, or the memory has to be there. Otherwise, we're not going to react to anything. If we don't have a memory, if you never heard this voice before, and you heard it for the first time, you're not going to say, oh, that's Bhante Rahula. Only after you heard it a few times, or even seeing the form of this face. So that's nama rupa. It's the memory is the nama, and it's not going to arise without the corresponding object. They come together in a moment of full cognition, a moment of seeing, a moment of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. But they come and they arise and vanish very quickly. But they repeat hundreds and thousands of times over and over again. And then it appears to be a smooth flowing scene, like a reel of film, how a reel of film is made up of individual frames. One by itself doesn't mean much, but if you flash them through a projector fast and you don't see the spaces in between, then it looks like a smooth flowing scene.
So Bhante, the sound vibration is external rupa and our ear is internal rupa. Am I right?
The sound is the external vibration,
Uh-huh.
but if you're deaf and that pasada rupa, the material part of the sensitive ear is not working, you're also not going to hear.
Yeah.
Or if you're wearing earplugs, you may not hear sounds going by. So three things need contact. There has to be the physical object, there has to be the sense organs that are working, and there has to be the attention. If the attention is the mind. If you're absorbed in the book, you may not hear people in the room behind you or other things because your attention is not there. So even though the sounds are there and your ears are working, you're not going to hear. So those three things are needed for contact. And contact is the full sense experience, and where the sense of self thinks it's doing that.
Okay. Sadhu, thank you.
Douglas, do you have your hand up?
Yes, Bhante. For years, I've been quoting something that you said in a Dhamma talk a long time ago, that in meditation, we're actually recalibrating the vibration at the cellular level. I want to make sure I understand that, if that's correct in the way I've been quoting that, and maybe if you could elaborate on how.
Can you
I mean,
repeat that one more time, a little louder? I couldn't hear
it. So I recall years ago you saying that in meditation we are actually recalibrating our vibration at a cellular level. So there's almost a physical thing happening in the frame of the body in deeper meditation. Have I got that right in how you were explaining it?
Yes, that's part of it. So, everything is basically just electrons. The whole life is just atoms and electrons, which is basically the life force and so on. And, they're running through the nervous system. And normally we don't, of course, feel that. But when we have a sense experience, depending on the state of our mind and body, that affects the flow of those sensory data. Like, let's say we're real stiff and our body's stiff and the joints are stiff and we don't have much good circulation, our life force energy at a low level. So those vibrations are vibrating at a much lower level. And that's why, then they don't function properly. And so, by, like, when you meditate, to keep the spine straight so that these sensory data can flow through the nervous system up to the brain where you have cognition. Now, if that's defective, if you're sitting like this and half asleep, you're not going to be noticing those vibrations. And also, the more vibrations you can feel in the body, like, that's why I have people, try to feel the whole body, to have whole body awareness. And once you're able to do that, you can feel like the whole body is just a mass of subtler vibrations. And that is present moment awareness. When you can feel those subtler body vibrations, a lot of them, that means your mind is now more and more rooted in the present moment. And that's changing the vibration of those cells, molecules, and atoms, because it's a much more mellow type of flow happening, rather than a kind of neurotic and kind of flow which excites the electrons and so on, and they flow in a more smooth and harmonious way, which affects the whole body-mind system. I don't know, does that kind of help to answer?
Yeah. I just one last observation. It has often seemed to me that there is a correlation between quantum physics and Buddhist meditation, because everything is affecting everything else.
Yes, in fact, I've written put together an article about that with our visiting monk, actually, a couple weeks ago on this program. Venerable Ananda had given a little talk about the meditation, the brain, and the molecules and electrons, and we had kind of talked about that.
Thank you, Bhante.
And there's a lot of research being done on that. You could probably find, through AI, if you Google that in, you probably find a whole bunch of good resources and research being done on the nature of consciousness, Okay. Okay. Any last questions? Okay, so if there's no last questions, then it's a good time to take a few minutes break and then come back, do a few stretches so we can activate those electrons and cellular vibrations in the body, and then sit to meditate so we can figure some of this stuff out. Okay? See you back in a few minutes. I'm gonna see my hands up here. Okay, friends, try to stand straight. Relax your arms at the sides. Gently close your eyes. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Feel that solid contact of this body to the floor, the feet. Feel the sensation. And let the awareness kind of move up the body. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Feel your hands and fingers. Just feel your weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. Feel the clothing touching the skin of your stomach and chest. And feel your head balanced on top. Just keep the eyes gently closed. Just try to feel your eyes resting in the socket. From that point on the eyes, try to feel the general outline of the standing body, head balanced on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Just try to get a sense of all those different parts. All those different sensations create the idea of a standing body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. Taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. And hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. Allow all the oxygen to get out into the bloodstream. On the out breath, try to feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this present moment awareness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine this breathing with these movements. Do the movement while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds, and returning to the starting point on the out breath. And repeating each one 3 times. So you can open the eyes and observe me as I lead you through it. So on the next in breath, raise the arms over the head. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms up. Straighten your arms, stretch your head back, and stretch upwards. Feel the sensations. Release the fingers on the out breath, arms back to the sides. Feel the last bit of air go out. The arms come down. And again, in breath. Interlock the fingers, stretch up, bend back a little bit. Feel the arch in the spine. out breath, arms back to the sides, feel the air going out. Once more, in. Stretch up and back a little more, hold it a little longer. Feel the sensation. The out breath, arms back to the sides, feel the air go out. Relax. Let's close the eyes, keep feeling the body, don't let the mind wander. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel the increased pulsation in your hands or fingers. Feel the clothing touching the skin. The head balanced on top. Any of those purely physical vibrations is that connection to the present moment. Just remember standing, standing, standing. If you want to think about something, just think about standing. Repeat the word standing. Okay, now on the next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other, but 5 inches apart. Stretch up. Out breath, come back down. Feel the last bit of air go out. The arms come down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. Blowing up a helium balloon, the body rises up, stretch. Out. Once more. Hold it a bit longer. Out. Close the eyes, relax. Keep feeling the body. Clothing touching the outer skin. Or the pulsations under the skin. Body sensations are the anchor to the present moment. Just remember standing, standing. And next we'll do side bending. On the next in breath, raise both arms up over the head. Keep your fingers and arms straight. On the out breath, bend over the right side. Keep the arms parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In breath, lift up. And the other side, out breath. In. Into the right, out breath. In. Out. Once more to each side. Those molecules and electrons flowing. It's the movement and the breathing. Sending those, creating a vibration. The out breath, lower the arms. So feel that increased sensation, vibration. The more you can feel, the more the mind will be grounded in the present moment. The thoughts will just come and go in the back of the mind without getting carried away in them. That's the secret to the meditation. Use the body as the anchor, the present moment. Okay, next we'll do squatting or knee bending. On the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. And take a deep breath, push up, feel the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up, on the toes. In out-breath, all the sensation. In. Out. Out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, other pulsations. Hold the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Feel that aliveness in the body. Having charged up, generated a powerful flow of energy. Just present moment awareness. Okay, now spread the feet apart about 3 feet. We'll do twisting from right to left, holding the arms out. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand, going back. In breath, come back to the front. And let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side, out. In breath, front. Just keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out breath. In. Feel that lateral twisting in the spinal column. Come back to the front, lower the arms. Feel each foot pressing the floor. The arms and hands hanging at the sides. Clothing touching the skin. Head balanced on top. The eyes and the sockets. This body exactly as it is, here and now. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Now we'll do the forward and backward bending. Spread your legs wider apart if you can. Wider the better. the hands touch the front of your legs. Breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward. Keep the head lifted up, looking out straight ahead. Let the hands come to your kneecaps. Keep the legs straight, the arms straight, flatten the spine. On the in breath, lift up. Move the hands under the buttocks for support. On the out breath, gently bend back. Keep your eyes open. Feel the arch in your spine. In breath, carefully lift up. On the out breath, again forward. Let the hands come below your knees. Feel the extra stretch in the back of the leg muscles. In breath up. Again, the back bends. Be careful. Out breath. In. And third time, let the hands come down as far as you can towards your feet and hold on there longer. Let it stretch in the leg muscles. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Just feel all those sensations. And begin lifting up. Breathe in. And once more, the back bend. Just be careful. Out breath. In breath up. And the out breath, just relax. Feel the whole body. Feel that aliveness of the body. Billions of cells, molecules, atoms, electrons, vibrating with life force through the deeper breathing, the rhythmic movement, creating a powerful magnetic flow in the nervous system. Creates present moment awareness, creates the feel of awareness. It's not centered behind your eyeball. Okay, so bring the legs back together. One last exercise, the head turning from right to left. On the in-breath, turn the head to the right. Have a stiff neck, be careful. Look over your right shoulder. The out-breath, turn all the way back to the left, and look over the left shoulder. In-breath, back to the right. Out, left. Once more to each side. Let the head stop in the middle. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating, activated life force. present moment, body-centered awareness, the natural awareness. Okay, and mindfully come back to your seats for the sitting. Get comfortable in your sitting position. Just align your spine and the back of the head in a straight line. Just gently close your eyes. Just feel your head balanced on top of the spinal column. Keep your chin lifted up level to the floor. Try to mentally hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin. Feel the buttocks pressing the seat, feet tucked underneath. Try to hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. And begin some deep, slow breathing again. Feel the expanding of the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding in the air for 2 seconds. And slowly breathing out. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this present moment awareness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Now we're going to try counting our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in a second. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Feel the last bit of air go out and let go of any deep breathing. Let there be a little pause. Let the breath come back in by itself. Don't control the breathing anymore. Just let the breath return to its uncontrolled or shorter, irregular rhythm. You continue to feel it. Keep the attention focused in the center of the body. Especially try to feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, or rib cage, or chest as it expands and contracts. It's the center of the body. It will help keep the awareness centered in the body. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Know it by feeling it. Especially try to tune in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath and the brief pause. The contracting out breath and the brief pause. Just over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders of the present moment. In sitting, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous present moment of this sitting, breathing body. In sitting, out, sitting, breath by breath, moment by moment. If you can, try to hold the outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye, feeling that process of breathing going on in the middle. And feel those brief pauses between the breaths. During those pauses between the breaths, check the posture to keep the chin up level to the floor. Keep the inward curve of the lower spine in its proper position. Just letting go of your thoughts. Just let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keeping the sensations of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. Can help you to stay focused. If you're breathing in, you can imagine all that oxygen in the lungs going out into the bloodstream, charge up all the cells of the body. On the out breath, breathing out the impurities of carbon dioxide, other impurities. Just thinking like that to yourself will help keep your mind out of other unnecessary thoughts of the past or future. In sitting, out, sitting. With each out breath, just relaxing the body and mind more and more into the present moment. You catch the mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting. Out, sitting. Breath by breath. Moment by moment. Start to feel more and more subtler sensation in the breathing body. Noticing the subtle stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind. If you know what the 5 aggregates are, you can recognize them as they appear in your mind. This is material form, physical vibration, and the pleasant or painful feelings that are generated by, that arise with the forms, and recognizing them, perceptions, what they are, names and labels, and any urges to think or react to them, sankharas, and the sense of the I that's watching them, the ego consciousness. Be able to identify them helps you to keep from getting carried away into them, by them. See how quickly they're constantly changing. Just open up to the flow of impermanence through this breathing body, these sensations, feelings, perceptions, thoughts arising and vanishing. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Help stay awake, centered in the body. Feeling more and more purely physical vibration. let the space of awareness expand and notice more and more sensations. Any sounds in your house. You have a good sense of awareness and flow of awareness. Try to become like an empty house with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors, or react. Just the pure awareness, space of awareness. Vibrations of awareness. When any pains arise, be aware of the perceptions, thoughts about them, arising in the mind. Conditioned reaction. See how they change, eventually vanish. There's other things you can notice, take your attention off of pain, feel other sensations. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Sounds come and go. Pleasure or pain come and go. Thoughts of the past or future come and go. Thoughts of I, me, and mine come and go. These are all just a continuous and constant flow of the five aggregates in their nature of conditioned, impermanent. Arising and vanishing through the expanded body-mind awareness. The thought of I is just like a frozen ice cube in that ocean of awareness. Just allow that ice cube to melt. Just become the ocean of awareness. Dukkha patacani dukkha bhaya patacani bhaya sukha patacani sukha Hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu to finish the meditation. We do repeat the chanting 3 times, doing it with a long in and out breath. So take a deep breath. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Now mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath as you breathe in. Stretch your head back. Pull your hands against the knees to arch your spine backward. And lift the head up on an in-breath. On an out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. And lift the chin up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so it's our evening meditation to an end now, and I hope you're all able to have a good meditation.
Okay, Bhante, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I hope the volume issue gets solved, Bhante, for next time. Thank you. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Keep up your meditation during the week, especially to practice the M&Ms, stopping every hour for 1 minute to come back to the present moment of the body, taking a few deep, slow breaths.
Just gifting these brick blocks with some shot making and
Safe, be mindful
really no need to try and overhit that return again. This is a matchup where he can play a bit more conservatively with that, still be at worst in neutral.